Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest edition of the Without Context podcast. I am Deck of course, joined by Sharky Hat, my usual co-host, and today we have a special guest, which, if you have been following along on our Monday game, you will have recognized her voice at least. Can you introduce yourself to everyone, Tasha?
Hi, I'm Tasha, aka Amada in game. First time player, so it's been definitely interesting.
It's kind of what we want to talk about, is Tasha slash Amada's first time playing D&D. What I hesitate to say what possessed you, but something in that vein, like of what made you want to start D&D first off, and then your experiences so far as we are, as of recording, 13 sessions in.
Yeah, this kind of falls under the like first player interview I think we've done.
Yeah.
So
we've been saying we wanted to do a bunch of these for a while, so why not start with the first person who's playing for the first time ever?
No pressure.
Yeah, you're fine. One of the things that is very unique about how we made the table specifically for you, Tasha, is that I've played with a bunch of the people that are in Sharky's server for 2, 3, 4 years at this point.
I think we're on 3 years now. So
yeah, so I know how they gel and don't gel together. And so one of my first considerations was like, okay, I want these people specifically because I know these four or five people will play around and push Tasha to do things that maybe she doesn't think of. And one of the things you also want to do as a DMing newer players, is you want to have people who are very experienced at D&D to kind of be co-pilots, sort of. Do you think, and I'm asking this both as the person who is DMing you and as an interviewer, do you think I have fulfilled that so far?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Everybody's pretty helpful in there and kind of push me to go outside the box sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
With a table involving Charlie and Lindsay, it definitely makes it easier when it comes to
much so.
coming up with more off the wall kind of plans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one of the things I really appreciated about as you've started to play and get a personality of your you have to have your own personality, and then you have to be able to put in your own personality into your characters. So one of the things I really like about what you've told me so far is some of the stuff that hasn't come up yet in the story, so I'm not going to spoil it. But I like the stuff that you've given me, and I like that you're like, hey, is this okay? Is this okay? And what have I always said? Yes, more is more. Give me more.
The idea of the character and putting yourself in, it definitely falls under pro wrestling moves or pro wrestling style, where it's the best character you can play is just you exaggerated.
Yeah,
to a degree. So
take a certain sliver of your personality and just dial it up to 11, and that's a really good character.
Yeah.
I guess. Did you have any?
Yeah. What's up?
I was gonna ask if you had any questions, but you do. You're about to ask one.
Since you've been in this game with Deca for the better part of probably six months now.
6 months, yeah.
So give or take.
It's really been that long.
Yeah.
14 episodes, some breaks every now and then. So,
Yeah.
Have you felt like this group and everything is a group that you would want to keep playing with for other things, especially where Deca's running a published game, so he kind of has a skeleton to go off of? You think you have the confidence with this group to be hey, let's go into a world that isn't planned, where it is mostly us now?
Shark
just
is recruiting
this. I'm always recruiting.
At this particular moment, I'm still trying to get some of the basics, but I could see me doing something like that after I got a little more hang of things. I know a couple sessions in, Deca suggested that I made myself a flow chart for combat, which has really helped. So I think once I kind of get the hang of it a little better, I think I would be okay with doing something like that at some point.
Yeah, it's like over at the Naruto game on the other channel. where it's like everything is like just more an exaggerated 5th edition. So it's like a bunch of combos and stuff. It's like we have to make flow charts for the plans. It's like, what is your turn? Which of the 8 things are you going to do on your turn?
You also have to plan your turn super far in advance.
And for the people that aren't following the campaign, you're playing Amanda, correct?
Amada.
Amada. Okay, Amada. And what is the class that you're playing?
I am playing a wizard.
Wizard. So
And
it's
then
like
Eladrin.
you jumped
Eladrin
right
Wizard?
into wizard as a first character.
Eladrin Wizard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a high elf.
Yeah, just like new character wizard. It's like, okay.
So one of my so I've played with someone else who's played D&D for the first time in a campaign a couple years back. And the 2 things that they tell you to do, not to do: don't play a caster, don't multi-class. She did both.
It's like,
I respect it.
I'm gonna learn at like the top of the curve.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? That's the best
Play-
way to learn something.
Play D&D in hard mode. I respect it. But yeah, you've been like, as for a brand new player, you've been super consistent about like some of your abilities. You've read through your character sheet. Is something I always tell people. It's like, read through your character sheet. Like, please, that's the one thing you have to do. I make the story. All you have to do is read this one sheet.
Right.
And you've done a remarkable job of that. And like every now and again we miss triggers, but I do that too. And I've been playing for like 5 years now.
That's me. Half the combat just like, oh shit, this guy had this thing. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, he's already dead, so can't remember.
Doesn't
that.
matter anymore.
Do you have a playing the wizard? Do you have a particular favorite spell so far?
No, but I've definitely leaned towards lightning magic. Which
That's-
go play, child.
That feels like the Lindsay influence with lightning bolt.
Lindsay actually had nothing to do with it.
In a bunch of our previous campaigns, Lindsay's always casting lightning bolt from either a spell casting or from an item or something.
Right. Yeah, no, actually Lindsay had nothing to do with this one. It's just kind of how it ended up. Would you stop it?
One of the most pivotal moments in our home campaign was Lindsay being with her captors and just casting lightning bolt in front of them
over a dinner table.
Over a dinner table. It was one of the most iconic.
It was an iconic moment.
If I could get art from seat 1, it would definitely be that moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of the homebrew campaign stuff that I want to get like immortalized as artwork. Since that one's over, and all the future campaigns now are just going to be built on the repercussions of that one. So
yeah, which is fun. Did you know anything about Critical Role before you started playing? Because for those of you who don't know, Call of Another Deep is based in Exandria. Exandria is where the people who play Critical Role play on Thursdays. So sorry, go ahead.
I got a whole whopping I think it was 14 episodes in of campaign 2 before we started. Thanks to Charlie, who told me to watch it, because he was like, this will help you understand, which it really does in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. And even when I'm like looking for inspiration for things that are not quite explained in the module when I'm reading it, I'll look at what not necessarily what they're doing, but the areas around, because for example, when they were in Bazzoxan, they actually went into the Betrayer's Rise in campaign 2. Spoilers for campaign 2. And it specifically says in the book that the Betrayer's Rise just changes every time you go into it, so it like morphs to intentionally be difficult to navigate. So their version of the Rise is different from my version of the Rise. Their version of what was it called? That inn you guys went into with the big guy who's like had the elevator shaft. The last round.
What's it called? The last round?
It was called the last round or something like that.
Something.
So their version of it is a little different from mine. We have some similar NPCs in the world because that's Matt Mercer's world, and I'm not going to mess with that. But like as far as like buildings, NPCs that you guys meet, a lot of them are different. But you'll see, like, if you continue to go through campaign 2 and you get to areas that you've been to in your campaign, you're gonna look and be like, oh, I've been there. And I think that's gonna be really neat when you get there, like, when you get in further into campaign 2.
It's the
and even
deep,
in some,
the deep lore.
yeah. Did you have any questions for me as your DM?
I mean, you're not going to tell me your secrets, so I can't really ask that.
No, but you can ask questions that are like, how do you come to, it's decision making questions of like, how did I come to this decision, or whatever.
Not
off the top of my head.
That's okay.
But yeah, I'll probably think of one later.
Yeah, behind the scenes, we've been trying to get this episode filmed for about a week and a half now. It feels like just
right.
Someone kept working 12-hour shifts.
Yeah, they kept putting me on 12-hour shifts. Here's the thing that gets me though is last week it's like, hey, we're gonna have to work 12s on Tuesday and Wednesday. That's it. That it became Thursday, Friday, this week. It's like, I hate this. I hate it here.
Yeah. It makes you feel better. I work 10-hour days almost every day, so
I'm going to be working an 8-hour shift.
Is that full-time job?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I'll be joining the ranks of a full-time job. Let's see. We released this on Friday, so in 3 days.
Yeah, it's like
3 days as of when this releases.
This comes out on Friday, allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly on Friday.
It'll probably be out on Friday. But
2 or 3 days. So yeah, we'll see how I'm feeling.
Yeah. So this is your first D&D game, correct?
This is.
Have you had experience with any other like RPGs, like through video games or other tabletops or anything like that?
Not to this level.
I know with Kevin, he has like Dragon Age and Final Fantasy and like all these other like RPGs we grew up playing.
Not really.
It's just
most of my board games are classic ones. Yeah, sure, why not? That's the best way to do it, in my opinion.
Let me ask you that in this way. Have you ever role played? Like, take the dice out of the equation. Like, we can be talking Gaia Online, we can talk Neopets. Like, have you ever role played before?
Not in the way you're thinking. When I story write, I role play, but that's because I get involved with my characters.
Yeah, that counts.
The MySpace era.
Yeah.
Oh god, not kidding. MySpace.
Like, that was a whole era of people like LiveJournal, MySpace, all of those websites.
The 2000s were weird. So,
yes.
Just the worst.
The IRC client role plays.
Yeah, so we basically took somebody who had no experience, just threw them right into the mess of this with the hand-picked party.
Mm-hmm. So the other consideration I made is that you're playing a divination wizard, which is funny because the Dunamantic schools in Exandria touch into like an equivalent sort of esotericism, because they're like, I know you've gotten some of the spells so far. They're like gravity magic and like time magic, and it's a similar vein of like being the divination of being able to see the future. And I think it's really cool that you're not strictly a Dunamis scholar, but you're kind of a Dunamis scholar. In the ways that you can be like, oh yeah, by the way, that person rolls a 2.
Yeah, it's like the more aggressive version of Lindsay's Oracle from the home game.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, hey, I can help my party, but this one's like, I'm gonna make you roll, whatever I want you to roll.
Have you do you think you've accomplished the things that you've set out to accomplish on Amada so far?
So far, I think there's still a lot for her to grow and learn and find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's honestly, if you're not growing and learning and finding, even with your characters, like, something's wrong.
Right. Right. I think there's still a lot for her to do.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until the session before last session in a live stream game that I play in that my kobold finally said something other than his name. Because I decided that I didn't want to just keep saying his name. So he actually started talking for once. It's like, there we go. That seems like the next logical step on this character. Let's get him out of Pokemon territory and actually make him a character.
I played a Ghostwise Halfling in a campaign. The Ghostwise Halflings, their difference between regular Halflings is they can project thoughts with their mind, and they can like do telepathy. But beyond that, he never said a word. Every now and again, when something like depressing happens, he'll pull out his flute and like play something. But he never like talked. And then one day, like, I don't know, I don't remember what the circumstances were because it's been 3 or 4 years since I've played this guy, but he was a fighter samurai subclass. Like, yeah, I was being a little tropey, I guess, with the, silent samurai type situation, the Ronin type character. But I don't remember the circumstances that really triggered it, but he finally talked one day, and I think that was a really fun moment where they're like, you have a voice? Yes, I have a voice. What do you mean?
I think mine just came from the fact that I was on a live stream and I wanted to probably contribute a little more than just my character saying his name as him talking.
And I think it's important for you to be able to like throw stuff like the spaghetti method. You throw it at the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah.
And there are things like we're describing that don't stick if you say your name as your character. It's the Kenku thing of like, oh, I'm gonna make this sound effect with my mouth, and it sounds funny in your head, but when you actually do it, you're gonna get some people at your table that are like, wow, that's actually fucking annoying.
The cringe.
And so you have to balance that out. You have to balance out the things that are like, hey, this would be cool if I did this. And trying to find a way where it doesn't like bust your table's balls.
Yeah.
I think everyone in our group is pretty good about like everyone gets their turn in, but we're all also making sure everyone else gets their turn in. Like, hey, what are you doing at this time? That's my favorite thing to ask, especially with how the last session kind of shook out. It's like, hey, what are you doing right now? What are you doing right now? You know what I mean? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's that, and also it's the fact that Deca threw you right into a recorded game that was going to be uploaded. So, how was that pressure the first time?
I try not to think about it, to be honest. The last session we did cams, and it really threw me for a loop, which is part of why I got pretty quiet. So
I will say the cams are not going to be on the recording. It's okay. Just what you said. So and I'm saying that for you, and I'm also saying that for the people who are going to be like, what the fuck? You said there was cams. No, that's just for our sake, so we can look each other in the eyes while we're doing our role playing. And I think for the people who really like, if you see Lindsay and Charlie and even Haley to an extent, they all like light up when they do that because that's the shit they love. And certain players love it. Certain players are like, about it.
They just had me and Alvin just hanging out in the rafters.
Yeah. Just in the peanut gallery. Just
muted, just cameras on, just like, yeah, like whatever stuff was going on.
That was funny. I mean, we haven't really done like any real like Amada centric stuff yet. But we'll get to it at some point, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets a turn getting slapped down by the DM.
It's bound.
Right now it's Haley with Sorn. We just finished the tournament arc, which was really Sugar Pop's Arte's like whole thing. I just want to say I had, without like taking us out of the equation, I could not have predicted how seamlessly the Centaur Ranger fit into that tournament until I actually started doing it, like with the Fae on Fae battle during Midsummer. And oh man, it was beautiful storytelling.
Has that been uploaded?
Not yet. It'll be uploaded on not. Oh yeah, it'll be uploaded this Monday.
Have you
I should be
uploaded
home in.
anything recently? Because I don't think I've made a thumbnail for anything in a few weeks.
Well, we didn't have session last week.
Okay, that makes sense.
Or a week before last. So this session we're having is like the first one we've had in like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like
So,
it's that time of year where everybody's going to start having time away from the table. I mean, even right now, the Dummies and D20s channel, we're probably not uploading anything for the next month, just because every weekend somebody has something to do. So it's the biggest thing around this time of year. It's like it's getting out of, the weekly, gameplay mode because people have stuff going on, Thanksgiving and then Christmas and all this other stuff, and then it's like first like New Year, just coming back and being like, okay, where were we? Let's get back into character. Let's remember what our character. Let's remember what our character was. Like, just
it's like putting on a glove. Sometimes you can do it in one go. Sometimes it takes a couple tugs.
Yeah.
I don't like that it's like riding a bike because no, it's like putting on a glove. Sometimes you could just swoop and you're good. Sometimes you got to like do each individual finger.
And sometimes you tear the glove, but it's fine.
Yeah, sometimes the glove rips and you're like, God damn, throw it away, get another.
That's called PC death.
That's called I'm not vibing with this character.
That
kind of segues into like my next question. You're playing a wizard in this campaign. Is there any class or anything that stuck out for any future character option that you'd want to play through?
Well, I actually was thinking my next character would be a rogue, but I actually just made my next character, and she's not a rogue. So I'm interested to see where that goes. Astral is her name.
Nice.
Ooh, nice. Are you just making her to make her, or are you? Is that going somewhere?
It's going in Charlie's game that he's starting.
Oh, yeah, he's doing.
That's right.
Charlie decided because
Wizards
is not giving Charlie a Dark Sun campaign setting, so Charlie's like, fine, I'll do it myself. And he's recruited some players to get that. I think that is strictly their game, though. I don't think that one's going to be uploaded.
Yeah, no, that's something that they're doing for themselves.
They announced everything. Wizards announced everything up until like 2024, and it's just like no Dark Sun, and I'm like, I'm sorry, Charlie. He's like, it's okay, man.
I'm sorry, buddy.
They're just like, hey, you're getting plane chase, you're getting all these other settings. And it's like Charlie's just like, no Dark Sun. Just sad about it. Just sad about it.
Crying in a corner.
He's like, fine, I'm gonna do it myself.
I'll make my own Dark Sun.
And he did.
Do you have any? Do you want to talk about your rogue since it's not going to be on stream? This will be your second character ever.
Yeah. Which it's pretty much about. I started working on the backstory yesterday when we were hanging out in chat, so I went ahead and started doing that. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to take her because I'm told like it's a rough, tough kind of neighborhood kind of thing. So
it's like post-apocalyptic D&D.
Yeah, it's D&D by way of Mad Max, more or less. If you want to get D&D by way of Mad Max, we could play Descent into Avernus, which is just Mad Max by way of D&D, complete with cars. It
really is. They have the cars. They have the screaming demons on the cars.
Yeah, they're
just a guitar solo on a car, short from it being full on Mad Max.
Yeah, so I'm just not quite sure where she's gonna go yet, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
Have you gotten to that player threshold where you're now just thinking of characters?
After the first one, yes. There's a whole Pinterest file of pictures of possible D&D players.
The Pinterest folders are being put together.
Yes, it's bad. There's like 3 folders marked D&D at the moment. So
this is us hooking you into D&D.
Yeah. It's it definitely clicked after the first like 2 games. I was like, yep, we're good. So
you're enjoying yourself. That means a lot to me as a DM that I'm somehow doing a good job at this. And I trust Charlie as a DM. I think he's a very creative individual, and he's gonna. We were just talking about the homebrew thing, and like, yeah, that's effectively what Charlie's going to be doing because he has he's played Dark Sun in the past, so he knows the world.
He
But at
has
the
the
same
lore.
time, he has to make it up.
Yeah,
He has the lore, but he doesn't have it in such a like. If I show you my DM notes, it's just like these are the things that I am making up for the module, and these are the things that are I'm running what's called a module. A module is like A B C D E F, and then this is the end. And there's some variance in there, but it's not a lot of variance.
You make
What
notes.
Charlie is doing, yeah, what Charlie is doing is making it up. Like he's full on just making it up based on the lore from previous editions of D&D.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because I think after 3rd edition, they had like a few books come out for 4th edition, and 4th edition's like this hit or miss edition for a lot of players. And then for some reason they just have decided not to make a new Dark Sun for 5th edition yet, even though they've gotten everything else. They've gotten every other setting.
They've got Avernus. They've got a bunch of Faerun campaigns. They've got Plane Chase that's coming up, which is good for me because I am going to be doing some stuff. But I think they're almost forced to later. You know what I mean? At some point, they're going to have to. They're going to run out of things to throw books at because. But I think it's for the best that they didn't do Dark Sun, because if they do it the way they did Spelljammer, probably better off just making it up yourself.
Knowing Charlie's luck, it's going to be when they finally decide to do like a hard like D&D 1 like book. It's going to be a Dark Sun campaign.
Yeah.
It's like first campaign setting of a whole new edition. So
the thing I liked, well, just going back to Spelljammer for a sec. The thing I liked about Spelljammer is that like a lot of it was just here's a bunch of cool stuff. DM, go from here.
Yeah.
I like that, and I hate it at the same time. I like it because I'm a creative person and I can probably do something with it if I really wanted to. But I hated it because it's that thing of like, if you just give me a little bit more structure, I think I'd be good.
And to tie this all back to Tasha here, it's like you're playing in one world of D&D. That's the Critical Role world. And it's like there are a bunch of published ones, like from the actual Wizards of the Coast, a bunch of other ones from third-party developers too. Does the idea of seeing like what all these settings have in like different, like what they have different from each other, make you excited to continue playing D&D in a bunch of different like spaces and stuff like that?
Yeah, it does, because it's helped me get back into my writing, because it gives me something to kind of like go off of in some way, shape, or form, and it kind of gives me an idea for characters in that way, because then it's like, oh, I kind of have an idea of where I could take them, and so it definitely makes me excited to kind of see all the different worlds and everything, which is why I agreed to play Charlie's madhouse of a game that I'm expecting it to be. So
yeah, because
it's going to go off the rails very quickly.
Yeah, you have the Critical Role world that Deca is running. You have Dark Sun, which is an established setting that Charlie is now, modifying. You got Spelljammer, which is D&D in space. You got Plane Chase, which is D&D through different dimensions. Like it's there's a lot. And
definitely it's going to be interesting.
And then like what I have from a third-party thing with, this is an adventure about a comet that's crashing through a bunch of dimensions, making this comet one giant like multi-dimension space. So it's like
interesting.
It's just like, hey, look, D&D, let's get weird. You can be you can be your normal Lord of the Rings fantasy, or you guys want to get weird. Like, let's get weird with this D&D.
Let's just get super weird. It'll be fine.
Or like our friend Whiffles, it's like, hey, do you want to play in gothic vampire setting?
Shout out to Whiffles, friend of the
Shout out to Whiffles and her constant running of Curse of Strahd.
Yeah. Do you have any what do you think about the people that I placed you at the table with?
I think they are all know so much, and it's super helpful at times. Sometimes I find it kind of hard to like keep up, but I know that's not on them. Like sometimes I need to just ask questions more,
Yeah.
but I'm getting there, and it kind of helps that I'm getting to know everybody because I know some of them were pretty new to me in the general. So, but they're all really nice and they're all super helpful when I do ask questions, and nobody judges me for asking, simple, basic questions that they've probably known for years at this point. So that's been really nice.
Yeah.
Well, and even when you know the rules, like with the playtest for 1D&D coming out, like as they come out, I end up having to be like, I will introduce rules to like test them out, like the dual wielding rules that we're testing out. They're not the ones that we use that are in 5th edition. The major difference between being that you can attack if you have extra attack, you can attack twice, and then you can attack one more time with your offhand, which is not something that D&D did. It used to take your bonus action to do that, and even now we're still correcting ourselves as that rule is now in place with both Duck and Sugar Pop, who are the two most likely for that to happen. It can be a lot sometimes.
The living document that is now D&D 1.
Yes. It is D&D with patch notes.
It is D&D with patch notes, and I hate that comparison, but that is what it's become, and it's kind of funny, but it's going to be like, okay, you're going to be so set on, like, this is the rule, but then they're going to make a thing where it's like, hey, we're testing out this new one, and it's always up to the DM to choose which, they want to use, because that's all D&D is. It's a rule set, but it's a rule set meant to be modified. So
it's a bunch of suggestions, really.
It's a bunch of guidelines, really.
Well, it's just guidelines.
Yeah.
To quote a famous pirate.
Yep.
But
so yeah, it's the rules of 5th edition. Like once you got them and you saw them in practice, I can imagine like just reading it the first time was kind of a little bit overwhelming.
Daunting,
but then when they're in practice, it just kind of all fell into place for you.
Yeah, for the most part, there was a few things I was like, what does this do again? Like, can I use this at this time? So, but now that it's like gone a couple rounds at this point, like it's like, oh, okay, this makes more sense. I understand this now. So
yeah,
being able to do it rather than just try to read about it definitely helps.
Yeah, you're not meant to read the player's handbook aside from like classes. It's like
I've quickly learned that.
you really gotta like just experience it.
Yeah, it's like with the Dungeon Masters and the Dungeon Masters Guide. It's like, are you reading this book? Yes. Okay, we'll stop doing that. And here's what we're going to do.
I think the DMG is the most purchased book that nobody reads, other than the Bible.
It's just there for reference.
Yeah, there's some really neat stuff in there, and even stuff like Xanathar's Guide to Everything has neat rules for like crafting and stuff. Doesn't mean anyone's gonna look at it,
because it's just a lot more bookkeeping a lot of the time, and usually somebody has homebrewed an easier system. So most of the time we'll pull a PDF off somebody's like Twitter page or something that they've shared. And it's like, yep, this works. So
how I do my things.
Yeah, do my stuff too.
The books you found in Madame Amakente place, I made those based off of some rules that I found in another book that is called, oh god, I forgot what it's called, and now I'm being put on the spot. But it's a large like book of NPCs and rules for like different potions and different like books in your case, and different other things, and there's a bunch of different rules sets for it, and it's just fun little bonuses to add to the game to make it feel more like a breathable world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, anything else off the top of your head, Deca? I don't play in the game, and I don't really like sit in on the sessions, so I don't have a lot to kind of go off of.
Do you have any what do you think, given where we left off? What do you think Amada is up to next?
I think she's attending this fancy party with very much caution.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see her as like a dress person for the most part, but we did, purchase a dress in the last session.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. But from the vibes I've gotten from Soren's like kind of higher class, which is why I made the decision to get her a dress instead of trying to wear something different. So
you're fine.
See, we thought about it, but I went with the dress solely because I really liked the dress. Let's be fair.
Nice dress.
It is, but I think we're gonna attend this, and my biggest thing about it is we're avoiding any more spiders because I can't do it. Okay, Deca, I can't do the spiders attacking me from behind. I just can't do it. No more spiders.
Happened one time.
No more spiders.
Since this is going up on Friday, I too want to apologize for Tack for throwing a certain spider at them on Thursday. So, this is the same spider that I've thrown at the party before, and it is not fun. So,
oh God, that spider is.
So they're going to be dealing with the spider that has the little grabby hands.
Yeah. So. That's disturbing. Like, if you think the spider that I threw at you guys was something, the spider that Sharky threw at us in C1 was something else.
I told the party, I'm like, it's like, I am a very different kind of DM. You will have fun, but you will be stressed the whole time. So,
I think what I like about our game in particular is that even the social situations are stressing, as evidenced by Haley playing Soren stressed out of her mind.
Deca does social situations better than I do in D&D.
Well, I guess the dinner that they're having isn't part of the module, but like, it's just I get inspiration for stuff like Vampire the Masquerade, where like social combat is they use combat, but like social combat is just as rewarding as like punching a werewolf in the game means the same thing as like talking your way through a very fancy dinner.
Yeah,
it holds the same weight, and I like to bring that into my games. So when you're trying to track somebody down and arrest them for cult worship, I want the stress in you, like, going undercover and, disguising yourself, making sure the disguise doesn't fall apart, saying the right words. I want all of that to have the same weight.
I just like to throw enemies at you guys.
As that. And both, don't get it twisted. Both ways are valid ways to play the game. And like, however you want to play, as long as you're having fun with your DMs, into it, like, go for it. But like, I like to have a good mix of like social encounters and like combat encounters and just different things you can experience.
Yeah,
that's my way of doing that. But I don't know. Past the dinner, what do you see Amada taking care of? Because you had given me some ideas about what you wanted, but like, the dinner is just gonna happen regardless.
Right. I know she's still going to be searching for Scarlet, aka Strawberry, that she keeps referring to. I don't remember what it was called, the orb in Madame's shop that we had talked about. I can't remember what it was called, but she will definitely be saving up to probably go back and get that, because that very much intrigues me, and it's very shiny, and I like shiny things. So exactly. So I see her doing that, and hopefully as the game goes on, she will continue to open up and be more talkative with her party, because I know right now she doesn't do a whole lot of talking, only when necessary.
I think the dinner will be a really good opportunity for Amada to like talk to the people in her party, Nothing Good, or the people in the other party, the Emerald Pact, or just people that are just around town. I think that's going to be a great opportunity for her to like talk to people. And if she wants to socialize, I will definitely make time. And that's the other thing that's going to be challenging about this, because when you have in the book, in the Call of Another Deep book, when you have social encounters, it says, hey, whenever you have the packed out just have, you know, 1 or 2 people be the star, but no, I have all 6 of them there,
Yeah.
and then I have all 6 of you there, so it's gonna be my head's gonna be in a lot of places at once.
Right.
But I'm gonna try to nail down like individual scenes for you all to have, even as you all are in this one banquet dinner. You know, just things that people want to say, people want to do. For the most part, the pact is going to be reactive to the things you guys say. I can say that. I don't think that's going to spoil anything. I don't think they're going to be proactive because I think all of them are going to be like, well, Lauren invited us to this thing, so I guess we're going to eat and be merry.
Yeah.
So they're going to react to the things that you guys do versus like proactive doing anything as far as I know. Unless you guys start combat, then, you know, fuck around and find out.
Right, exactly. Because you never know, rugs could attack.
That's fair.
Yep.
That's a valid criticism. So, but I think that's really all I have on my end. I just wanted to get your thoughts on, you know, the first time playing D&D. What you think? I guess that's one thing. What do you think about D&D as a whole? Like as you've played the system so far, you've made 2 characters. What do you think about the system as a whole?
I think it's really fun if you like to do the role playing thing. If you're even remotely interested, I would suggest jumping into it and just trying it. Because if you really don't like it, you talk to your DM, and more than likely they can try to work something out with you. Or if you're really just not having it, they could kill you off too. I mean, it just kind of works that way. So I would definitely suggest trying it if you're even remotely interested. Just make sure you find a party that is understanding and willing to work with you on it, which I am so happy that I have a party that is willing to work with me on everything, which is super nice. But like, I know somebody else that's interested, but the ones that they knew that played it, they're a little more strict about it. So you just got to make sure you find the right people.
There's a whole Reddit called RPG Horror Stories for a reason. So.
Yeah.
There's nothing like I think the way I think my DMing style is like I have rules, but I'm willing to bend them if you give me a good enough reason why I should.
Yeah,
I think that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, and D&D is a good beginner system.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as you play, you want to, and you maybe after 3 or 4 campaigns, you're like, I don't want to play D&D, and then you go to stuff like Vampire the Masquerade. You go to, you know, Pathfinder if you want a more complex, you know, D&D. So there's all a bunch of other systems too that have their own rule sets, but they allow the games to be played a different way. So some can deliver more than other systems. I know Vampire the Masquerade is definitely more roleplay heavy rather than very roleplay heavy rather than like D&D's mix of roleplay and combat. So
then, like I was saying earlier, like the social encounters in Vampire are just as important, if not more important, than combat encounters in Vampire.
Yeah, because you roll enough of those fucking skulls and you can kill somebody. So you're like, oh, can't control the vampirism. So yeah.
But I think that's all I really had. It was nice to have you here, Tasha. Of course.
Of course. Anytime.
Really wanted to get that new player smell while you still had it on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first of several potentially player interviews in regards to Call of the Netherdeep. So.
Yeah. Stay tuned for episode 13 on Monday, which will finally drop. And then I can say that episode 14 will be coming out the week after that, actually, because I'll have time to work on it. Because as far as I know, we are playing this Saturday. We play, for those of you who don't know, we play on Saturday, and then you see the episode the week after we play. So we played this session that's gonna come up on Monday, last Saturday, and then on Saturday, on the next day, tomorrow, after you see this, we're gonna actually play the session. Then I'm gonna edit it, and then it'll come out the Monday after that next.
Yeah, unlike the Dummies D20s channel where we play on Sunday and the episode's uploaded on Saturday. So, but yep. Thank you.
I believe in giving myself ample enough time.
Yeah, but thank you for being here, Tasha. It was nice talking to you. I'm glad that you're enjoying our little group that we have going on here. I'm glad that you're enjoying D&D and playing it, because I know that for some people, yeah, the wrong group just completely sours the experience. Like I've known people who tried to play 3rd edition and they had one bad group, and I don't think they bothered to come back to D&D. So happy that we could at least deliver on that front.
Yes, very much so. I appreciate you guys having me today, and in general in the server and everything. It's been really fun. So I look forward to staying there and hanging out and seeing what happens.
Excellent.
Very happy to have you all. But yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, I guess I'll do a little bit of housekeeping here before we call off the episode. Episodes will be across probably all the channels. Will probably be a little more sporadic as we go into November and December, just because of the holiday season. It's like this every year. We have people that start to travel or have to work, or just holiday stuff. So we'll occasionally miss a few dates. I know we missed the last few episode of the podcast dates. Right now, we do have a guest planned for next week. It is a friend of mine. She is an actress. She has actually been on shows for like Netflix and stuff like that. So that's going to be cool. That's barring any of her schedule changes and stuff like that. So, but hopefully that will be next week's guest that we'll have with us. And yeah, if you're watching this channel and you haven't seen the update on Dummies and D20s channel, the next 3 weeks, at least one of us is going to be doing something each weekend. So the Naruto D&D 5e campaign probably won't come back until November 12th or 19th. It all depends on if Lindsay can sit down and record where she's at. So
wedding.
Yeah, so she might be able to record at the where she's staying, but it's all up in the air. So we'll when we know more, we'll let you all know. But yeah, so new call the Nether Deep on Monday when you guys are watching this. And yeah, so that's all I got, Deca.
Yeah. For Sharky, for Tasha, and myself, this is the Without Context podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. Bye, everybody.
Bye.